Nope, still won't. So just recording. Need to fix that problem. But anyways, as you ventured forth and acquiring two maps put together, you find a way different than what you'd expect. Neither left or right, simply going around in a interesting way, coming across what appears to be a giant statue of a gold dragon, with a cart also encased in gold flipped over to the side. You're not exactly sure if both or either correlate with one another. That itself, however, does not matter, as I believe one of you figured out, I believe it was Halavu, that this was a magical enchantment or the like that capped the entire area. You figured out that after a few times, you can enchant an object creature. Depending on the size, it could be more than one casting or fewer. At least one. Uh, so he decided to first try it on a dragon. That being said, Cerberus waved over Gavin to the side of the wagon where it hasn't been stated yet. About 3 people lie underneath, squished, not as if pressed down uh, by a force stronger than, let's say, a dragon. More like people turned into solid, pure gold, so malleable that just the pressure of the wagon pressed their faces in. And other bits. Now the team stands. Well, it's hard to tell what the team's about to do, but I'm gonna roll a d4. Evens, Cerberus, odds, Byroths. Uh, you know what? 1 Cerberus, 2 Byroth, 3 Realta, 4 Halawu. Okay, Byroth.
I forgot which number it was. Okay. I think before we should. Is everyone here okay with this? Is everyone here? What do we? Because I can do the disenchant thing, but he's drag. Hey, wait, where are Gavin and can I make a perception or something to see if everybody's here?
I mean, you can look around and you can't see them. The wagon is pretty tall, so you'd have to roll pretty high perception to see, or at least look over a wagon.
I'm just trying to make it so I don't have to do this without everyone here. Because waking up a dragon, although we approach it pretty blithely, is a big deal.
Why do we even need to wake up? Why can't we just walk past it and leave it?
Because it's interesting.
Because it's D&D and people act dumb when they have magic.
We're drunk with power. I'm honestly more interested in the people, so I want to try and find out where they're at. Rolled 12.
I mean, you know they're not in the vicinity. That being said, there's really no other place to go other than going back around the dragon or behind the wagon. You're not exactly sure 100%. But it's a direction you can go towards without being too meta about it.
Yeah. No, before we have a rampaging dragon, we should at least know what everyone is, right? I'm gonna go peek around here.
Okay. Before you head on that direction, though, I mean, you can still go. You can still move your token. But the middle group next makes their interaction. They then states to Relta, "Well then, seems that your friend really likes to try to wake a dragon. Is there a reason for this?"
Well, we haven't woken it yet. We're trying to find out if we want to and attempt to do that.
seems fair. And you there, miss, pointing towards, Lulu, or at least gesturing towards. What about you? Are you fine with this?
I'm like in the air, just as 60 feet away from the dragon, just waiting.
He's yelling. If there are bad guys in the area, you guys would be discovered. That being said, you are in the air. You don't really see anyone else around.
I swear to you that that thing's not gonna come alive. We've dealt with dragons before. I'm just, you know. She's like eyeing up the dragon, like sort of waiting for it to pop out without our attention.
Saying that, Cora then states, "You've dealt with dragons before, on friendly terms, I assume."
I mean, one was.
I see. Tell me, did they have any special equipment on them or other?
Does the dragon have special equipment on it?
No, but you can roll an insight check
white
to
one?
determine what she means by that. But from what you can tell, based off of the red
I
dragon,
don't know what she means, but
yeah, they had no equipment. The white, or the frost dragon, really, also possessed no equipment on them.
Caliber Broom just goes, why would the dragon be wearing any kind of equipment? It's a dragon. I doubt it needs armor.
Okay. If you want to forego the insight check, you're perfectly fine to do so. But the way she phrased it, it seemed like she was trying to get more information without directly asking, hey, did this thing have this thing and that thing?
Is it obvious that the
Hollywood.
gold dragon here is wearing equipment?
Yes. The dragon does have a harness. Or a saddle, if you will. But what were you saying, Halibu?
No, I was just saying that she'd be like trying to act confused, but I think she kind of gets a hint at what she's trying to talk about. But is now more curious about what.
That's fair. But moving on to Cerberus and Gavin before Byroth gets there. Calling over Gavin, I think you just pointed at him and he just went towards your direction. You don't really speak. I'm just going to say that's what happened because I don't 100% remember.
No, I said I went over and dragged him over there, or sort of tugged his arm. And
Oh, yeah.
followed.
Okay, that's fair. Well, once you get there, he goes, yes, yes, what would you like me to see? Did you find something? Perhaps. This is a fine wagon, I'm certain, but it seems that you're,
I simply take him to smush people.
Oh, I see. That is unfortunate. I'm afraid I don't really know what to do about this, however. Or then someone can mold metal, or perhaps have some sort of smithing skill. I'm afraid if we, much like your friend Byroth is trying to awaken a dragon or bring it back from its current state, if we did that to these people, they'd be dead. Unless you're wondering what exactly this is, if I had to guess, these people were inflicted with a strange curse, allowing them to be gold-plated and then ultimately changing their very body into pure gold, which is how the wagon's so easily able to press their faces like that. Man, this would be horrifying if this was just regular people. No, but I'm sorry, I'm speaking far too much. What exactly do you want to know?
Cerberus simply shrugs and then points down the route we've already been going and just looks at Gavin.
Ah, yes, it is perhaps a continuous effect throughout the area. We could have perhaps find more of these types of things moving forward, but only one way to find out. At that point, Byroth probably rounds the corner and sees them. At least he hears Gavin. He's not exactly the most quiet person.
Well, Cerberus, because he said that we can carry on going, is going to start carrying on walking down the road we've been travelling.
Mm,
Hey, what are you guys looking at?
okay. As you come in, Byroth, Cerberus heads further north, south, east, west. Northeast. As you head over that way, Gavin simply states to you, Cerberus, well, don't go too far. We still need to make sure everyone else is able to follow. But if you'd like, you can venture forth. Just make sure you're... Oh, he doesn't know you don't have the walkie-talkie. Just make sure you're in contact. Looking towards you, Byroth, Gavin then states, ah, yes. Byroth? Even though he's been with you for about a week now. Yes, our companion there, looking towards Cerberus, has found these, I want to say people. Points to them, and you can see that their faces, their chests have been basically bent in by the wagon.
Yeah, that's not.
Yes, it's rather unfortunate. I'm not exactly sure what the exact circumstances of what happened here. But if they are to be disenchanted, they will likely die in this state.
I have an idea. And then I cast Mending just on like a head of one of them. I think I get a foot square.
What's the exact wording of mending?
Let me pull it up 1 moment. Just here. Mending.
I like the idea, but according to the wording, it's break or tear. They're not broken, they're warped.
So, by your interpretation, a dent in an armor could not be repaired by mending?
No,
It's not a break or tear?
because the armor's still functional, it just doesn't look good anymore.
Okay, so that doesn't work. Well, that was my best idea. Anything else was going to take some high level. Perhaps I could try. No, it would be too risky.
I mean, we can advance further. We don't exactly need to stop here.
This is true, but it would be nice to know what kind of powerful enchantment it is that could do this to a dragon.
Well, that
I was
is
hoping these.
something we should discuss or look into. Unless we want to awaken a dragon that we have no context towards, which I'm perfectly fine with, that might prove to be a most dangerous idea. But again, I am 100% on board on this.
You have a spirit of adventure, we get. I'll go talk to the group again.
You alright?
Byroth got egged on last match. Was this seriously all my own initiative?
More or
Somebody else is
less.
speaking up, I guess it was. Okay, so
You see Gavin move forwards, not like off screen, but far enough that he can see Cerberus head towards. Well, you can't see, but far enough where he can see both. I want to say groups, but people. You can still see him though, is what I'm saying.
so does anyone object to waking the thing up, dragon? I just feel like I put forward an idea and I got 0 pushback.
It's sure. If it attacks, I can only polymorph.
Quite effective in fast.
Cora then states,
It becomes less
"Go ahead.
less effective if you want to fight it. Sorry.
It's fine."
If you want to fight it, why bother? Just cut its head off now, then remove enchantment.
Cora then states that would.
Wanna fight it?
Yes, Relta does have the point. But that being said, if you cut off the head now, then there'd be no point to disenchant it. Unless one of you has speak to the undead.
I could sleep on it.
No, I don't want to fight it. No, like I don't want to kill it either.
Right now, it's in
I
a.
think we should just.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say maybe we should just continue on for now, and we could probably find another thing that's less dangerous to wake up from this thing.
Cora then states, your friend does have a point. Right now, it is in a stasis. Once we break it, whatever feelings or emotions it has, or what memories it has before it became this, we'll come all out at once. If it wasn't a fight, it'd kill us. If it wasn't, we are still strangers in its domain. Good dragon or not, things don't like to have more than what they expect in an area.
Okay, can I see the maps again? I want to check for hazards. See what threat level the map says this is.
Sure. Moving over towards Rauta so they could overlap the maps.
What do we get? An orange dot, a red dot? What are we looking at?
Currently, right now, there's still a faded dot where you guys are. Well, faded X where you guys are. You assume it's the dragon. Right now, there are 10 red X's heading towards the south, 2 heading towards the north, and 1 a few miles out heading towards the northeast.
And we are headed northeast as well.
Correct.
Okay.
You
Right,
guys
we can-
yourselves aren't X's on the map. You're more like dots.
Okay, thank you for that. One last thing I want to check. This thing has a harness and a saddle, you said, right? Easily noticeable.
Yes.
I want to check for a rider. A fallen rider that perhaps got flung off.
Huh, that'd be interesting.
I want to check for perhaps someone that was riding the dragon. I think it may have been. I'm also bad at looking for things. Someone with like
Cerberus is possible, but there's just one singular dot for the group. It's not like 8 different
Okay.
dots.
Because I'm just saying, if it was individuals, I wouldn't be appearing on it.
Probably. But no, it's just one dot for the group. For where the map distinctively is at that point in time. But Barralf, yeah, you look around on the dragon itself. You don't see anyone like smushed underneath. Go ahead and do a perception check in case you see anything or anyone around the area.
oof, 9.
You see Caitlin in the corner?
I'll take a look around too.
Perception. Natural 20 for Delta.
Relta, you really see Caitlin in the corner. You find that you find three people underneath the wagon. Because Byron forgot to mention that. You discover this on your own. You can tell that the feet are a little squished, so you assume that they are. Well, if you wake them up, they'll likely be dead as soon as you wake them up, unless you have something to restore their form before you do that. If not, that's perfectly fine. But around you, you see no one else. If the rider was there, they are there no longer. Either that, or they somehow managed to escape before the entire gold effect took effect, if you will.
Okay. Well, the rider's nowhere near here. And there's only squished people that I don't think would be good to revive in that form.
Oh, I saw those guys actually. Mending didn't work, and I figured since I was the metal guy. Anyway. So we've landed on Don't Wake Up the Dragon? Fine.
You landed on, if you're gonna wake the dragon, make sure you're prepared to either run or fight. Half the team doesn't really want to fight, the other half would be able to fight, but they're not sure if they would win. While this isn't an ancient dragon, it's still an adult dragon.
Fine, we won't wake it up. Or will we? No one has strong opinion. It seems like big risk.
I said let's continue on to see if we can find something smaller to try to bring back first.
Okay, fine, but I want to come back this way.
Cora then states, I mean, we will have to if we manage to find the city, survive, and want to go back home.
I thought you said you wanted to make new home.
I mean your own home.
Then why'd you say we have to?
I
You said
mean,
we, not you.
my current home is still my home until an actual city is stored here. These are just semantics you're going over.
Byron will just narrow his eyes. Just trying to be good police.
I mean, sure, if you want to roll insight.
Yeah, I definitely will. I think Cora's got something to hide. 15.
The way she phrased it, possible. She didn't really play it off too well. But you're not exactly sure what she meant by that. Maybe she means, you only rolled a 15. The best thing you can guess is, she thought you were gonna leave in the same direction. She didn't really include herself until you brought it up, and she was backtracking after that.
Okay, past the dragon now.
Okay.
Which I definitely will be riding on the way home, even if it's just a statue.
That's gonna be heavy, but you can always try.
In 1 minute intervals, I bet your ass I will.
Why can't I find your character?
Say what?
Ah, there it is. Let's see. It will be a good amount of travel, but I'm gonna say Cerberus got here first, but the rest of your tokens are there.
I'm not following the path.
Oh, okay.
I wandered off into the woods to hunt.
Currently the woods in this area are golden.
All of it.
Actually, that's a good point. Go ahead and roll for me. Your passive perception would indicate a few strange markings, but to perceive something specific, you would have to roll perception. But from what you can tell, a lot of this forest has turned gold. If you're looking for non-gold objects, creatures, plants, any foliage, you're gonna have to roll instead of use your passive. If you're not,
No, I'm just following the bird like always. The bird hunts, I retrieve the kill. So however far the bird flies is how far I walk.
okay. Let's see. Okay. Examining where the bird goes, heading towards the direction of the no. Let's see. A bird would be more intuitive to these things. Heading towards the northeast, you find that the area is a little vacant of life. Examining the area, your bird does come across with a strange. It almost looks like an elk. As it aims straight towards the creature, getting closer, it does examine that it is encapsulated in gold. Before it strikes, it stops and pauses. It lands on the elk as it has not moved since it was seen. It pecks at its head and the head indents in. If you unenchant that thing, it's likely going to be dead. But besides that, your bird looks around. There is hardly any living life. This forest is silent other than the wind in the area.
Then I guess I have a long trek to go through.
Yeah, it's a problem. All right. After 30 minutes of hunting, and I'm just going to say Byroth basically was articulating his plan and trying to get the group to consent to opening up, or the can of worms, if you will. Looking around,
Kind of WYRMs.
heading further and further northeast, your bird finds no organic life that is still normal. You would have to backtrack in order to find something else. Head further north or head further south. For the current destination that you guys are at, a massive expanse of the land is gold. Flying higher into the
Helps.
sky, your bird can see about a day's travel away. You would find more pleasant land than gold.
If it helps any, Barath would be aging that piece of rabbit meat that Cerberus gave him earlier.
You barely have. You've got like half a handful of rabbit meat to age.
I said if it helps.
Then eventually she will weigh up her options of either going through the only route that she knows, that she can still get food, or starving it out for the day before eventually circling back to roughly where she entered.
Okay. Let me roll something. 12, 14. Okay. As the bird heads back into your direction, it does see something moving. Do you tell the bird to go and move after it?
I can't see through the bird, so I have no idea.
Ah.
The bird is its own entity.
Okay then. The bird aims straight for this thing. Heading straight for it, it latches on. And then it flies back to you. It's more as recon rather than it trying to help you acquire food at this point. It is concerned. At a few minutes after passing, Byroth and the rest of the group head towards your direction but not your location. Your passive perception would be able to indicate that they are heading towards you, but not at you. The bird heads over and above you, it drops something. Heading towards the ground, do you try to grab it before it hits the ground, or do you just let it fall?
Just ignore it.
Okay. It hits the ground, and from what you can tell, it is a badger. But its hind legs are gold-coated. You're not sure where it came from or how long it's been here, but its back hind legs have been plated gold.
Just carry on walking.
Okay. Heading toward the direction of the next map location, heading back outside of this area. North, south, east, or west.
Me. Whichever way I came from, like I said, I did a loop in the end. So I've gone back to where I walked into the woods from the road.
Okay. Heading back outside of the forest, you can see that the team is heading towards your direction. Gavin makes his way first because he was in front of the rest of the group. And do you meet up with the rest of the team, or do you head out first?
If I'm in front of them, I wait for Gavin. If not, I'll walk to catch up.
Okay. You are in front of them, so you just wait until they catch up. And you have that little bit of information, whether it means something to your character or not.
As far as I'm concerned, something fell out of the trees.
That's fair. Gavin heading towards the next location on the map. You do wait about an hour because 3 axes came around the area. You waited until they headed further north, and then you went into this location. So it takes you about an hour to get here, even though on the map it would take you 10 to 20 minutes. In this location, you do see a whole bunch of solidified creatures and objects, you assume. Down to the southwest, you see a whole bunch of rocks that have... Well, it looks like gold nuggets rather than rocks. Into a more south location, you see a giant cobra ready to strike what appears to be a small rabbit. So whatever did this quickly. Further to the southeast, you see... It's hard to tell what it is, but you make out what appears to be almost like a honeycomb-like object. Heading towards more to your location, you see what appears to be a statue that has been buried underneath solid... Well, not really solid, but granules of gold. And then you just see a large scorpion that could easily fight you. And a very large beetle. In the middle of all of this stands on a stand appears to be a giant slab with a language you're not too familiar with. At least not without further examination.
Just gonna gloss right over the part where the statue's giving us the middle finger.
I am going to look at it. So, what does it say?
I did say it was buried underneath.
I understand all written languages, though.
Oh, okay then. You understand it, but I can understand that you understand the language, but would you know what the language is?
Doesn't matter if I know what language is, I can read any text.
No, I just need
It's
to know
written
for
down.
context clues.
I know one language, and it's not a language anyone else knows.
Got it. You don't know the language, but you do know what it means or signifies, or basically you can read it. No, keyboard. fell down.
Just when you needed it most.
Nah, I'm gonna say it. It just fell. In here, it's hard to tell what it signifies. It's more, it's not like a poem, but it's more poem-like based rather than an actual sentence structure. But the best way you can interpret it, unless you want me to give you the actual words,
Well, I mean, I can technically read it word for word, so
I know, but the wording is flowery. Unless you want to get the intent rather than the words, that's fine.
I will take the words.
Okay. Within one's soul lies dormant. Within one's blade lies life. Within one's soul lies height. Within one's height rises. In the soul of night, in the brink of day, halves of two wholes make the coin.
That's a tricky one for charades.
Can you message me that, please, Dogma?
Sure. It is written out in physical notes, so this might be a while.
I'm assuming Cerberus walked over to this thing to read it.
Oh, and other people went over to it, yeah.
Let's all go over there now.
Here's the first part. But yeah, while everyone else is there as well, do they attempt to read it or not?
My character's staying 40 feet away from the party in the air, 120 feet. Not 120, what's 90 feet in the air.
Well, that's a hell of a perception
part.
check to read from that height. But yeah, I mean, Barath will, sure. What do we roll for that?
As well.
Just reading it, you would need the language of the primordials.
Nope. Alpha has Infernal. Hey, can anybody read this? I can't. It looks like gibberish to me.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you.
Yeah, everyone seems to be going over. Halloween.
And I'll fly over and fly down to see what's going on.
That is height, not light, right?
Which one?
The second line. Or is it meant to be light?
Which one?
The second line, within one's soul lies height, within one's height lies structure. Is that meant to be light, not height?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I see what happened. I got auto-corrected. Really badly, too. The heck? Huh.
So none of us can read any of. Can anyone read this written language?
Only know from what language is it in again?
Primordial.
Primordial.
Oh, I can read it.
Can any of our NPCs?
Jade can also read it.
That is true. I don't remember you guys
Any
knowing that,
Genasi
though.
any Genasi knows Primordial.
No. I mean, Jade. I mean, you know, all Genasi were trained in this. But I don't think anyone else in the group would know.
I think the other closest person I could think in the group might be Lit, but I don't know. But no one in our party, I think, knows Primordial other than me, without using spells.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Civ.
other than Rex's character.
Civ
Oh yeah,
knows
Civ
it.
does know as well.
Civ does know it, but she's currently... She's not missing. She's just examining the structure of the snake. If you want to call her over, you can call her over. But Hallelujah, if you know it, you can easily read this, or at least understand what it... Understand the structure of words rather than its meaning.
I'll read it.
Okay. Out loud or to yourself?
To myself first. Then out loud if anyone asks.
Okay. Once again, you hear within your own head first. Within one's soul lies darkness. Within one's darkness lies a blade. Within one's soul lies light. Within one's light lies structure. With one's soul makes two halves of the same coin.
I'll read it out loud the second time reading it.
Okay. Instinctively, you say it in primordial. The only one that able to understand is anyone that is able to speak or communicate in any form of language of primordial. Cerberus, you can understand what she's saying. Jade nods in agreement. Everyone else is confused. You assume.
Oh.
I assume.
So you can believe it then. Or did you just get possessed by demons?
No, it's our native tongue. Sorry, I'll read it in common this time. Bad habit. And I'll read it in common this time so everyone else can...
Okay. You try, but the words seem to be displacing. Almost as if you're trying to read again, but the words seem to jumble within your own mind. The only way you're properly able to say it is in primordial, but you do get the roundabout wording in common. It's just loosely translated. For some reason, the words kept trying to fight you.
And
Can
were
anyone
there?
detect magic?
Yeah. Lit then goes, "Yes, I can. I believe your companion in the sky also can? I don't know. Does anyone know how vampires work?"
We definitely don't. But I also think it's pretty obvious there's a lot of magic around here. Right? I mean, whole desert turned to. Anyway, go ahead, detect.
All right then. He begins to cast first detect magic. He detects a lot of magic, but he does detect specifically something within the stone slab. Yes, there is magic here. Now to identify it. Identify magic next. Oh, that is rather interesting. Unless you're able to actually read it yourself, or interpret its meaning, or have some other way of reading it. Ultimately, the only way to truly inscribe the language, the meaning, the thought, the pattern, would be in its native tongue. Otherwise, your mind would get confused. Think of it as a primordial thieves' cant, really.
Okay, so can I ask a quick question to someone who understands the language? How many lines were referred to within one? Was it 6? We have 6 things here.
You're asking how many lines are in the actual text, or
Yeah, because they say within one's light there's this, within one's, whatever,
Cerberus
there's
holds up 3 fingers.
3 lines. Because, again, I don't understand full meaning, but I feel that these things are not placed randomly around these tablets.
It is possible, but however, we don't exactly know what this signifies. The only thing we truly know is there's a message here, and that's it. Perhaps it pertains to something further ahead, perhaps this pertains to something in the ground or sky.
can I get a written form of what it said? Sorry.
Sure. I'm just gonna copy and paste.
Okay.
But ignore height and it's light. Oh, actually, I'll just change it before I paste it completely.
God, Caitlin.
Okay. Okay. Cerberus, you see Caitlin doing something with her hands.
I'm pretty sure anyone can see her doing it because she didn't say she was trying to be sneaky, so.
I know, but your past perception automatically shows you what she's doing. And everyone else is technically concerned around the slab. I mean, if they look towards Caitlin, they can easily see what she's doing.
I pay no
I'm-
attention.
I'm pulling out the kindness bow.
Okay. You I believe you put it in your bag, so you pull it out of your bag without too much issue. I don't know what that 10 means.
10 minutes for
Oh, yeah. You do sense a strange vibration in your bow, not as if it's about to break or shoot something out, but there is a physical vibration within its structure.
Rialta, can you hear this book? Can you summon the Sin Blade?
Wait, what? What's going on exactly? Like my thing cut out for a couple seconds.
Halibu pulled out her light bow and she just asked if you can pull out your Sin Blade for a second.
For what though?
I'm gonna try something in relation to this text because it's phrased like a riddle. I think is the closest thing.
Okay. I'll take out the shard.
Okay. As you take out the shard, just thinking about it, it manifests into your hand. In your hand, in your palm, really, you feel a vibration. Not as if it's about to take you over, not as if it's about to shoot something straight at Halibu, but there's something there.
I look at Hollywood. Okay, now what?
You feel the vibration as well?
Yeah.
Mm. I'm gonna ask the verify my mind if you feel a presence or if they feel somehow connected to this plaque.
As you begin to speak with the entity within your own mind, you feel strange for a second, but at the moment, it's hard to tell. It does communicate with you, but there is a strange, almost, how would I phrase this? Echo, but a barely audible one after they continue to speak. They simply state, I can't completely remember, but it's something familiar. Something from the past.
Hmm.
Caitlin, are you aware that Maximilian is doing this? Or is Maximilian doing this of their own volition?
It's independent. It's trying to protect Caitlyn while she's doing something.
Okay, go ahead and roll a simple 10 dexterity check. Or save. Okay, you're good. Cerberus, you can tell that Caitlin is flying higher for some reason. You don't really know.
I look at her. I look back at what's happening here.
Okay. From what you can tell, Hallowoo, the resonance between, I mean, if you step closer to Rauta, I'm just gonna say you do. You feel the vibration grow stronger, but not violent. Heading and looking at the stone slab in the middle, stepping closer, you do feel it getting stronger there. But still, unless you actually get even closer, you're not exactly sure what will happen.
I'll try and play the song that the light bow taught me close to the plaque.
Okay. As you begin to play the song, begin to use the bow in the way you, or at least your own personality has perceived it to be. The words, the inscriptions on the slab itself, at least half of them, begin to glow.
Okay, so it is tied to these two items. Any special abilities?
As in, do you get any new special abilities, or?
He's more so asking if, like, she uncovered anything, like how she uncovered her song, sort of thing.
Currently no. From what you had to tell, you are currently activating something, but it has yet to fully activate.
Cerberus said 3 lines. We have 3 shards of sin or virtue.
I can't explain how, but the last line doesn't relate to anything else, is the best way I can explain it.
It's worth a try. No?
Caitlin, I just see her flying higher and higher, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't think that's happening all over my face.
You also see Caitlin waving their hands for some reason.
Yeah, now that attention's been drawn that way on the walkie-talkie or badge. Caitlin, what are you doing up there?
You receive no connection.
You receive no connection. But Jade, not really knowing this, simply states, I mean, if the bow itself was able to light up one part, perhaps the, blade could light the other? Although I don't know how you could play a blade. Perhaps draw blood and drop it? Or pierce the stone with the blade?
There's a
I'll
fairy
try
tale
to-
about this once.
I'll try to connect with the consciousness of my blade and ask it what it thinks about this puzzle.
That is... Oh man. It already manifested and took over your form once, so it is near cognizant of its entire form. Almost. Man. Okay, fine. Within your own mind, you connect with your blade. It's not as grumpy because no one's currently trying to kill you or its host, so it simply states, the slab is a key to enter into the domain. The founders are where the founders are from. You need 2 halves of the same coin to activate it. One being virtue, one being a sin. The last one's tricky. There are 3 keys. But the last key has always been hidden from us. The only one that would know would be the primordials themselves. Well, he wouldn't say primordials, he'd say the ancestors themselves.
Thank you. I'll tell Hollywood everything that it told me.
Okay.
And I'll stand on the other side of the platform from her.
Oops, only took the cat.
But
As you stand on the other side of the platform, really it's just standing on the platform. Your bow and your blade begin to resonate even stronger. 2/3 of the stone slab begin to glow heavily. The last one has yet to glow, and you're not exactly sure Unless one of you is able to interpret this properly, but the only ones that could are Civ, Cerberus, Hallowoo, or Jade. Either that or find someone that was from here at one point.
I mean, I can try, but I don't know what check that would be.
Insight. The only other way you could perhaps figure this out is if you had an archaeologist with you.
Isn't Gavin an archaeologist?
Gavin's a cartographer.
Alright.
He makes maps. I'll roll one for Jade. He has a +2 at least. And I rolled a 1.
Ooh.
Okay. Civ's too busy. And I'm not sure if Cerberus cares about this.
Nope.
Okay. That takes care of that.
Cerberus doesn't understand.
That's fair. Cerberus walks over towards the bug. From what you can tell, Hallowoo, the third thing might not be an object, but a person, something specific. It's hard to tell, but it might be, or might have something to do with an alignment. That being said, Jade thinks it might have to do with sacrificing a life to open the doorway.
To a person, something, or an alignment. Good, I fell into those categories.
Now then, based off of that and your interpretation, is anyone just neutral?
I am true neutral. I'm technically the only alignment that fits in with this, I believe.
Although Caitlin is now talking as Maximilian.
And the best part is, I don't even know that sin blades and virtual items exist.
And if you do, I don't think you care.
Probably not.
That being said, Halloween, you can roll insight again to try to figure out everyone's alignment. Outside the game, you can just say if you're true neutral or not. But to interpret if the NPCs are or not, you would have to roll an insight.
Halloween was neutral good. Wait, no, she's not. She's chaotic good, sorry.
Not neutral enough.
Frick. Caitlin asked me this a while ago. Did I say neutral good, or did I say...
You said chaotic good.
I didn't say chaotic. Huh. Maybe. Yeah, because he breaks rules.
Not neutral enough.
I almost want to scroll back in that conversation.
It looks like the team, other than Cerberus and Halloween, I'm gonna say you haven't been. I mean, you have been talking with Cerberus here and there, but not enough to figure out if they qualify for this.
I have talked to Hallywoo for one night, Caitlin for all of about 20 minutes, and Rialto for one night, so I don't think anyone has anything on me.
Yeah.
Maximilian might have a few guesses. All he knows is you can't.
Your best bet then, Halloween, unless you want to tell people if anyone is just themselves. It's hard to explain in game. But you can roll insight.
I can just ask people what they think on morality and how they stand on it.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Greater good, do they lean more towards a moral grey, that sort of thing?
Okay, what do you ask then?
I just ask everyone just randomly, so weird question, but Uh, how would you view justice in this world?
Starting from right to left because it's easier that way. Lit then goes, justice. Justice involves power. Power involves strength. Strength from the dead or the living. It really doesn't matter, but as long as you have it. But if you have it, you can inflict your own laws, your own governance. But really on your own will and what you desire. If you had to guess, he's lawful evil? More or less? It's kind of hard to tell with him, but you assume he's not neutral. Gavin then states, ah, yes. Justice. It honestly depends on what the circumstances qualify. Some consider justice to kill an entire village in order to make sure everyone survives. Well, I myself have yet to do that. If given the chance and needing to make sure that everyone survives, rather than just one village, I would be tempted to do so. That being said, if a person was there on the street injured, I would tend to their needs if desired. If you had to guess, he's chaotic good. Hard to read Cora, but from what you can gather, she simply states, if the people need help, we should help them, depending on what we can do, of course. Provided the laws allow you to act accordingly, and they act accordingly as well, things should work themselves out so long as no one is too presumptuous. If you had to guess, she's lawful good? Maybe? Either that or she's playing that way. I don't know, I'm just trying to give Byrroth more suspicion. But she kind of doesn't fit. You've actually spent a good amount of time with Jade just talking. From what you can tell, he simply states, justice can be tricky sometimes, but ultimately it all depends if you're there or not. Regardless of intent or your own desires, if you're there, sometimes you can help. If you're not capable, then you're just simply not capable. And you'd only be standing in the way. That one will require an insight check, but you have been speaking with them for a while. So I'll give you advantage. If you had to guess, he's neutral good, which might work, but hard to tell. Only one way to find out. But currently, as the information that you have, he's likely your best bet.
Kind of grab Jade gently and just lead him over, just like, stand here, please.
Sure?
Toriel
Should
to
I
nod and start playing again.
touch the stone? Do a dance?
Just stay there for now.
Okay. As you begin to play and as you begin to use your violin, cast your song, the words begin to glow again. Huh. I believe Ralta just standing there manifesting her blade activated it because her own blade has a will of its own and acts accordingly. Ah, man, you woke it up a lot earlier than I thought you would. Oh, well, that doesn't matter. You, out of instinct, you do not know if it's yours or the blade's, prick your finger and drop one drop of blood upon the words that are underneath Hallowoo's, and those begin to glow. Jade not sure what to do. Touches the stone. Actually, let me roll. Yeah, touches the stone after both words are placed. And let me roll something else.
Yeah, we all get sucked through a portal all of a sudden. God.
Touching the stone, something seems to be activating. It's hard to tell what exactly is going on, but do people scramble away, scramble closer? From what you can tell, it's in the parameters of the stone around Relta, Hallowoo, Jade, and the slab within, and roughly 5 feet out of it.
Byroth is not going to abandon Realta, who still feels like he fucked up and burnt her hand. Okay, you're reactivating a portal now? Did I hear someone say that's what this was?
I don't think it. I think someone interpreted it that way, but I don't think anyone expressly said portal. However, seeing you move forwards, Gavin looks towards. Actually, they moved, so they just yell out, "Servers, if you're coming, we might be opening a portal, or not. Could be interesting." Lit jumps on board, even though he doesn't have to. He was within the parameter.
Guess I'll go on the walkie-talkie badge. Caitlin, I think a portal is happening. Oh, it doesn't. Yeah, but I don't know that. I just might know you're not answering.
Around now would be your ritual time. So you can cast whatever you're casting, Caitlin.
She casts divination.
On?
So,
Okay, what does divination exactly do?
I ask a god or a god servant. I'm talking to the god that Caitlin worship, or one of that god's servants, and I'm gonna ask it a specific goal, event, or activity.
Okay, let me roll. 10 and above. Something special happens. Below. Okay, 15. Within your own mind, you hear a Transylvanian. I want to say dialect, but that's not the proper word. However, it's not depicted in the game. Within your own mind, you hear, "Ah, Lady Caitlin, how can I help you this day?"
I need your guidance on a matter of importance.
I do have some time, so ask your question and I might be willing to give you an answer.
What the answer I seek is, what is the Sea of Gold for? We're here exploring a map, but I just don't understand the significance of all this gold. It has to have some higher meaning, right?
There is a higher meaning. If you'd like it, I can give you the answer.
Can I just step in? Have
Yep.
you changed the rules of the divination spell, Dogma?
Don't you have to roll for something? I feel like you have to roll for something.
It can only pertain to something that's happened within the past 7 days, or within 7 days.
That is... I knew it had limitations. Okay. That has happened long since you're allowed time to ask.
But I can ask it about an event. It doesn't have to pertain to the 7 days. It's just the activity.
Pretty sure all of it has to relate to within 7 days.
Single question concerning a
Yeah,
specific goal,
a
event,
specific
or
goal,
activity.
event, or activity to occur within 7 days. So all three of those factors account for the within 7 days factor.
Yeah, this is not a past spell.
I mean, it is, but way longer than 7 days ago.
I mean,
Then
if
I would
you
change
wanted
my
a
question.
natural spell to do that, Legend's Law would be your best bet.
In the meantime, Byrath casts Thaumaturgy on himself to be 3 times louder than normal and shouts, Caitlin! Barto!
Yeah, she's not doing that. Then my question would change to will we figure out why this land is golden within 7 days?
That is possible, yes, so long as you follow the right path.
Okay. Thank you, my lord.
Yes.
And the spell ends.
You hear screaming on the other end as the spell ends. You don't assume it's your god, you assume it's something else.
I mean, it's safe to assume what that scream was.
Yes. Currently,
Yeah, she's staying here.
okay. 5, 4, Starburst, are you going to get closer? You're 10 feet away.
I'm within my 15 feet of Gavin like I've always been.
Oh, that's...
Gavin simply said to follow him, so I went within range of him.
Yeah, and he is... Well, he's not stupid. He doesn't exactly know the parameters of the spell or the effect that's about to happen. Oh, man, that's troubling. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2...
Should we all scooch up or something? I don't know how portals work.
1. He wouldn't think that way. Or at least would think you're close enough. As most of the group heads towards a new location and the other half kind of stays there. Well, 2 people stay there. Oops, she's on top of a building. In this new location, you find buildings, you find a desolate city. You do find bodies around the area, but they are without limbs, without torsos, half broken as if statues falling on the ground. Mainly because I don't have depictions of people frozen as golden statues, and I'm using free tokens. Who's to say?
So they should be golden mangled bits.
Some of them golden, some of them mangled. Well, all of them golden, mangled, or just preserved as normal statues, but gold. Some with fear, some with resentment, but all of them in a panic.
Yeah, I don't really think we went to a better place.
No, it doesn't look like it.
Let's investigate.
Oop, louder than I thought. Okay. As you begin to investigate the area, you find a countable, but not depicted, amount of bodies around the area. Definitely enough to house each structure around the area. And there's a mansion further north from your direction. That not depicted on the map. You have yet to explore. But from what you can tell, this area was hit with some effect rather quickly. Not completely quickly enough to not have people panic and worry, but fast enough that barely anyone can do a thing.
Does it look like they're running away from an area?
You see that most of them are running away from... Actually, yeah. You see some of them, not all, running away from the north section of the city. The rest seem to be panicked, heading outside of the city, but in multiple directions.
Okay, I think we should remember this area. and then we should investigate north. Because I mean, this is where the portal dropped us. Probably important.
Yeah.
Is this a fountain that we're standing beside, or what?
You're standing next to a solidified silver fountain. At least you think, but the strange thing is the buildings, the structures, everything else around you is gold, including the ground, but solid now.
But this is still silver.
The fountain, from what you can tell, and the water inside is still silver. Well, at least it looks silver. The liquid, let's call it, inside appears to still be moving.
Like mercury, quicksilver.
Hard to tell.
Mage hand,
Uh,
and put it in the silver.
You put what in the silver?
Mage hand.
Okay,
Mage.
your transparent mage hand goes into the liquid. It comes up, cupping some, and it slips through its fingers. Well, mage hand isn't exactly hand, but I'm just gonna say it's a hand right now. It slips through its fingers quickly with no solid form. From what you can tell, it is not gold. It's definitely not water. It appears to be a different type of metal.
Can Byroth examine it in some way?
Sure. I mean, you've done some blacksmithing before, but this would require more alchemy knowledge.
I did find those alchemist notes in the tower.
That would help.
Anyway.
Are they still classed as being on the material plane?
No.
Oh, okay. Would, if I wanted to teleport to them, would they still be classed as being in that rough area on the material plane where they just left from?
In theory, yes.
Okay.
So, can I roll something to
Yeah, go ahead and roll Arcana.
enjoy? Natural 20.
You can tell this is a strange liquid. It is not, and perhaps it never was, water, but it is something known as point in time. Yeah, you would know it as mercury or quicksilver. It's an alchemical agent that many alchemists in the past, present, and future, it all depends on this world, but currently still people still use it, and alchemy exists here, use for their concoctions. You do not know why they've been using mercury in this area, especially since it's highly poisonous and you know that. Furthermore, you know not to drink it, touch it, or have extensive... just don't touch it, and you should be fine. Otherwise, you get hit with certain things that you don't want to deal with.
Okay, yeah, it looks fancy, but it's actually poison. Okay, don't breathe near it. We don't want to. Everyone step away.
If you had to guess why it hasn't changed into gold, the alchemical agents of the substance itself did not allow it to change.
Okay.
Which
this
means
seems-
either it was part of the thing that caused this, or it's for a different purpose altogether.
Okay, it seems likely this was either part of the casting, which I'm not really sure of because it seems like they're running not away from this but past it, or the properties of the mercury itself prevent the spell from affecting it. So we might want to take some with us, but again, don't. If you take it, put it in something with a stopper.
Okay, get off my keyboard.
Kid. Actually, that's interesting. Do I have anything with the stopper, like a wineskin or something?
I mean, if you ever drink in a potion, possible.
Let me... Can't drive endless water. And...
Is mercury common on our plane? Or is it something you can find?
Mercury is something you can find, but it is not so common that you put it in a water fountain. It is something coveted, but not so much that, let's see. Basically, for pound, you can exchange it for gold, which is expensive. So basically, you found liquid gold here.
Found something literally more fucking worth. Actually more expensive than the gold all around us.
Yeah, which is a little disturbing to think about. Also, with so much gold, if there's a city here, gold would pretty much be worthless.
Alright, Barath is gonna take out just a regular old drinking cup from his explorer's kit, or adventurer's kit, he has both, and take a cup of mercury and kind of go over to one of the corpses that looks least mangled, one of the gold ones, and pour it over. See what happens.
Least mangled, okay. As you're doing that, Cerberus, are you trying to get there, or are you trying to find Gavin?
I went one way, then tried to get to Gavin, but obviously they're not on the material plane, so that doesn't work, and now I am lost somewhere in the gold landscape.
Oh no.
Okay. No one technically knows where this is.
If it's not on the material plane, it doesn't matter to me.
No.
What's the range on our badges?
It's out of range.
I imagine it's not interplanar.
It's kind of between planes. You know how some creatures are able to go in between planes for a certain duration of time? Basically, it's a dimension within the dimensions.
Is there a way for us to open the portal back up?
It's possible. I mean, you came from here, or at least you popped out from here, but you don't see a stone slab. If you had to guess, maybe the fountain acts as the waypoint to get back, but you would have to test it out to figure that out.
Can I ask a question? Do I know about teleportation circles? Because of where I came from?
Oh yeah, easily. They're common. People have created and crafted them so they could easily get from town to town.
So the fact that we went from a plaque to a fountain, would it be too much of a stretch to think that that could be sort of a teleportation circle sort of scenario?
No, it's not too much of a stretch. If you had to guess, this teleportation circle just needs keys to get you to the other side. That being said, though, does anyone have a passive perception other than Cerberus of 18?
Rialtus is 18.
And 17.
Okay. Baroth, as you begin to pour, I'm going to say around the legs, you see that the structure of the body begins to... Well, the plating of gold begins to liquefy and slop around its form, as if underneath the body is beginning to come out.
Okay, this is working. Can I get the healer over here? I mean, I hope it was one of the least damaged
You
ones,
are
but
a
still.
healer!
I cannot pour and heal at the same time.
Can I get a healer over here?
I'm next.
Hey,
to
Caitlin, why aren't you healing?
I have some healing abilities I can help.
What was I gonna say? As this is happening, Byroth states the obvious. Relta, you see around you, and you see nothing around you, as in the horizon itself. You don't see a sun, but it's still bright out. You don't see the moon, the stars, the sky. There's just a void here. If you had to guess, you're not where you once were, but you're not somewhere else either. You're not sure how far the city extends out, or how far anything extends out.
This place is kind of weird. So, do I feel like we're like that one time when we teleported to that tower place?
Not exactly, but you're not completely far off. The way you teleported there, it felt similar, but not exactly 100%. If you had to guess, maybe they were trying to create this because this time it was seamless. But does no one try to help Byroth heal the person while he's
Oh yeah,
uncoding them?
I'm there. I'm gonna heal with
Okay.
some kind of a healing spell that can help. Or I'll switch places and I'll be the one pouring. He can heal.
Okay. Who do I want to mercury poison? You're not the one that's being uncoded. I'll go with her. As you begin to uncoat the person, Relta begins to heal them. Right around you get there to their face. Some of the mercury, unfortunately, she was panicked, does get in the mouth. There's no avoiding that unless you... No, there's really no way of avoiding that. Because it acts near instantly. But quickly, Relta begins to heal the person. They have 1 point of mercury poisoning. Okay. Immediately, they panic. They look towards you, Byroth. They look towards Relta with a cat on her head. Confused, but still panicked. And then they begin to try to bolt out of there.
Wait, don't run that way.
Huh.
We haven't checked everything out yet. So.
Interesting way, but
Interesting
no, they'd
thought
be...
that they speak the same language.
Yeah, that's true.
Ask in primordial for them to stop.
Okay, you see that they're confused with what Relta said. They say something in primordial. Halloween, you can understand this. From what you can tell, she said, "You freaks aren't gonna get me." When you say stop,
will attempt to restrain her.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your athletics versus her athletics or acrobatics. She
20.
will use acrobatic. No, she's stronger. But it's only a +3. Nice! She just punches you in the face, which hurts, but it's enough force that she is able to sprint out. She heads towards... No, she saw that thing. She heads west.
Okay, because she hit me, do I get a, what do you call it? An attack of opportunity?
I guess if you want to fight her.
Well, because I have Warcaster, I can cast spells as attacks of opportunity.
Presumably, yes, you can, but she's still gonna run the heck away.
Yeah, that's fine. I just gotta remember if command requires that she understands my language or just a language.
You have to understand the same language.
Right then, in which case I'll hit her with blindness.
Ooh, that could be interesting. What's the save?
I think mine is 17 now. Wisdom.
Okay, wisdom is +2.
Oh. Well, it ties it.
You hit her with
So it's unmanned.
magic. It bends into her as if it's trying to work. Then you see a red aura around her just bounce it off. You do not know what that was as she just
What
sprints.
race is she?
From what you can tell, she looks humanoid. Closer to human, but she has a darker skin tone, which is not that uncommon. But her eyes are yellow. Her hair is white. She kind of looks more like Caitlyn than human. She has a mix of things, but she looks human. But her distinctive features, her eyes, her hair, her jawline aren't human. But she's close enough to appear human. Do any of you have a... I mean, no, you would have to roll to try to figure out where she is now, rather than your passives.
I mean, I could chase after her, if that's possible.
Okay, you chase after her, but we will...
Harley's got her broom still. Isn't it?
Yeah, okay. We will first go back to Team 2.
I don't know where the fuck Cerberus went, but this is Team B, and wherever the fuck Team C went, if Team B broke off.
I yelled at
Caleb?
you, Portal.
Yeah, I'm not getting in that portal. But now that Caitlin's finally well, Caitlyn takes out that crown and then the lust blade.
Okay.
Lust blade, I require your. I have an inquiry for you.
Let's see.
Not about my looks.
Okay.
What do you know about this virtue?
I know it's a cousin of our line. I don't exactly know which one this is. Whoever wielded this one definitely had an air of providence about them. So ultimately not much unless you're able to truly wield this.
If I'm wielding you, that I can't wield this, can I?
Afraid not.
Not like I need another virtue coming after us. But then why was I able to wear it and wield you at the same time for so long?
Wearing it is simple enough. It'll give you an attributed gift in order for the person to make sure they protect it. But truly wielding it requires something more. I'm afraid you just don't measure up, my dear.
What does it require?
Well, it's hard to say, but I'm afraid you will likely never be able to wield it. Honestly, your horse has a better chance than you do.
Interesting. So if I'll never be able to wield it, not because I'm not because of what I am, but who I am.
Suffice to say, yes.
Okay. I think I understand what's going on here.
Too bad about your friends, though. They seemed interesting enough.
Making a lot of assumptions here, Lust.
I can only assume. You've been with them long enough. You're not...
I've been with you nearly the same amount of time.
True enough. However, I assume they're not people you truly get along with. After all, I haven't seen you cozy up with one of them. And they don't really seem to be into you either. I mean, That's expected. So the only thing I can measure is perhaps friendship or camaraderie. Otherwise, what's the point?
The point of grouping up with him? Or the point of living?
Grouping up, dear. There are many points to how one wants to live.
Caitlin laughs a little bit. Oh, I thought as a sin you'd understand the use of a tool.
Oh, my dear, my dear. I know exactly how to use a tool. You, unfortunately, do not. Which is why I'm considering them friends or companions. Because you have yet to truly materialize a thing. All you've done is awaken a problem.
That problem is your sibling.
That problem is everyone's problem. Sibling or not, we don't all get along.
Siblings never do.
That being said, she is the closest to truly tuning to one of us. Right
That's 'cause
now,
you're restricted.
she's just barely stronger than us. Once she truly manifests its form, we will not stand a chance.
So you're saying it's now or never.
I'm saying, if you have any way of breaking this thing without killing yourself, I would do so.
You can't willingly part from this weapon because she can summon it when she wishes.
I'm
Don't-
afraid she's been
don't
marked,
worry.
so unfortunately, yes, unless the being itself decides to part ways, but I highly doubt that will happen now.
Oh no, she's very bound by that. She was quickly corrupted.
No, she was changed by you. Corruption was the second step.
I meant the corruption was by me.
Hmm.
Her own self-will is too weak.
Actually, that's why she was chosen. That's how he manifested. Simply put, she has a resolve much more than you do, I'm afraid.
How do you figure?
That blade, if it does not need to, will not manifest for someone so weak.
Well, it does have something to do with her master.
Perhaps.
Maybe it saw something in her master that she sees in her.
Either way, she will become a problem if left alone.
A problem that I intend to solve.
But without useful tools or actual friends, it's possible you'd simply die trying. So think a little before you do anything. Use those brains of yours if you have them.
Unfortunately for you, this matter will require me to finally draw you. I haven't been using you very much lately, just been depending on my spells. Looks like I'll have to use the blade once again.
I am always there unless you decide not to use me. But if you require strength, I suppose I can lend you a hand there.
I will require it to deal with your wrath. I mean your brother wrath.
My dear, you'll need much more than me. Right now, 60, 40 us. In the meantime, however, Cerberus, you've been trying, I assume, to get to Gavin without?
Did it once, and now I need to figure out which way I'm gonna go. So this will be fun. Because I know where I am, I need to know where to go. Okay, I am going northeast, which will take me completely away from where dropkick is.
This is true.
Feels bad, Doug.
But potentially towards the city of gold.
Hmm. Northeast, heading into the direction. Let me message you something.
Okay.
I'm not yelling. For some reason, caps lock was on.
Nah, you're upset. You're in a bit of a tippy.
Okay. With your current direction and the way you're heading towards, you see a large-ish mound of gold. From what you can tell, it's structured in a weird way. Not as if it doesn't belong there, but it's just there.
Okay. If it matters at all, I can run a mile every 4.5 minutes.
That is interesting, and you'll likely get further and further away from Caitlin, which is possible. That being said, though, I'm afraid not. So as you continue to move and about, you are not getting anywhere closer. Is your bird doing anything?
The bird is flying up ahead. And that is also scouting for Gavin.
Okay. As your bird heads towards the mountain range, or at least the Mount of Gold, it is about the size of a house, more or less. Hard to say. I'm not exactly sure what the bird would think. But roaming around, it doesn't really see anyone or anything other than you. It does see Caitlin very far away. Not enough to actually be seen, but can see because it has better eyesight. But examining the area, your bird finds nothing or nope. It finds three people heading your direction, which it can't tell you. It sees 3 objects in the distance. It heads towards your direction and caws at you.
There is a language between me and the bird, which is all done in gestures and other things. So I would gather that there are people ahead, but that's it.
Okay, good.
So I suppose I will just keep going in that direction.
Okay.
I have never before wanted to see a thing as much as I want to see a bird do sign language. It sounds wonderful.
Heading in the direction of these people, heading towards them, you are heading closer to the mount, but heading further northeast. They all seem to be clothed in the same type of manner, but you don't really see a distinctive marker on them. Other than the strange symbol of a pitch black cross, but in... how should I put this? With the sun behind them, but the sun is pitch black. Other than that, they all seem to be donning golden robes. You're smart enough to realize that they're trying to blend in without being seen.
You say that,
Um,
but I probably don't really gather it.
you're smart enough to see these people, but it's kind of hard to see them with the surrounding gold. That's a better way of interpreting it, I guess. Do you meet up with them, or do you just observe them.
I'll watch them for a little while, but that's it.
Okay. Getting closer to your destination, they're not walking towards you, but heading towards the mount of gold that you came from. The one up ahead of you, or the one up ahead of the group, simply states, "All right, it seems to be around here somewhere." Looking towards the person to her right. "All right, Peter, do you think you can do this?" I don't know. It's only been attempted once, but it's a trial and error. I just need a yes or a no. Maybe? Yeah, maybe. I'll take that as yes. Alright then, Margaret, you make sure he's stabilized as we're trying to rip a hole through the reality itself. Are you sure we should do this? No. No, I don't, but our boss has made sure to pay us handsomely, and we need that thing on the other side. Okay. Alright then, Peter. Make sure you don't die from this, as you are the only one that can do this. If you do, we're kind of screwed and have to go back and talk with them. Alright. Thanks for the words of encouragement. Anytime. You dick. You're still mad about— I'm still mad about that. He then begins to chant some words that you know. Or at least you know the language. It's written in the same— it's spoken in the same language as the primordials.
Unless it's written, I won't understand.
It's spoken in the language that Halawu said a while ago.
Okay, so just the same language as what I read recently.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're doing nothing that I understand, so I'm going to keep going.
Okay. Bouncing around and around and around. You are not finding Gavin on this area anymore. It's hard to tell if you can ever find him, but it is theoretically possible, I suppose. But in the meantime, as everyone's currently wondering what to do next, Halawu is currently chasing a woman down. I believe the exact wording was, shouting her in Primordial they aren't here to hurt them and want to help. Go ahead and roll me a persuasion. Oh yeah, that's right. They only have a +1, but maybe not a 20? No, that's a 2. They're off screen, but I'm just gonna say they're there.
Take it away, Hal.
Okay. This conversation will be in Primordial, but due to me not knowing the actual language, I'm just gonna sneak with Common. She's panicked, but doesn't get any closer, but hears you out. What do you want?
Trying to figure out what happened here.
What happened here? What do you mean, what happened here? The failsafe
just
hit.
signals to everything around.
Okay, yeah, that was this failsafe. If something were to happen, that was cataclysmic, the area would be isolated in gold. The area around the... She's not sure of your allegiance, so she goes... Door would also... A certain range would also be covered. To make sure if we could survive this, we could bring things back.
So this was a purposeful act?
Yes? Why wouldn't it be? Something this strong had to be acted into plan.
I'm not quite following what exactly would you need this kind of arrangement for? Like, what could you be against?
In case they got too close.
In case who got too close?
The gods, of course. Are they around?
Specific gods?
The ones that are trying to kill us all? Are you okay?
I think it might have been a lot longer time than you might think. Hang on, do you mind just sitting with us?
Another persuasion, please. That's an 8. I'll sit near you, but I don't want to get near you guys.
Perhaps maybe a rundown of the entire situation might help us, more so just a brief of what actually happened, because I don't think you're from a past that I don't know how to explain this.
I mean, I'll tell you what I know, but I'm only a blacksmith.
That'll be fine. Just come over here and just tell me all you can for the time being.
Much like Cerberus, she'll be near your group, roughly 15 feet away, but not next to your group. That someone could try to grab for her.
Can she understand us?
From what you can tell now, as she gets closer, you hear her speaking Primordial, which is a language that Hallowoo was speaking a little while ago. But for simplicity's sake, I'm just gonna say auto translates is active. So Hallowoo and Jade are interpreting what she says, and vice versa.
Hallywoo, what did she say happened here?
What happened?
She exclaims again, unless you want to say it.
Seems like this was a precaution from the town or city in case the gods got too close.
Didn't that war happen like hundreds of years ago?
I don't give she's a look of like a war. I don't know.
Keep forgetting if
seems
she was
more
with us under the city.
She was, I believe. I think the only one currently in your party that wasn't there was Cerberus.
She knows
Okay.
of a god, but she doesn't know about the war thing, if I remember correctly.
I believe so. At least no distinctive details.
I mean, remember how we met that thing when it was created to destroy mortal life by the gods? I mean, it was for a war. And that was a long, long time ago.
Yeah, kind of gathered that this was the thing being connected to it. It seems like this was taken as a security defense. And she turns back to the woman. She asks, I know this was kind of more of a security thing, but how were your people supposed to situation?
They were supposed to what?
Out of this situation, like how are they supposed to reverse the effects?
There were a few people that were
Asking her.
sent out before it activated, in case something were to go down, and in case the solidification took hold, they were to return and unsolidify us once it was deemed safe.
She's gonna motion towards the fountain and say, is this the substance that you guys were gonna use to unsolidify yourselves?
It is a substance that can, yes, but if they were unable to deactivate the spell, the fountain would be the next way of doing so.
Would you mind sharing who exactly was sent out to try and undo this?
Because they did.
I mean, I don't have their
know.
exact names. But the group's name is known as the Vanguard.
I look towards Sid and the others in the look of like, do you guys know who that is?
Gavin simply states, I'm afraid not, dear. If I did, I'd be hundreds, if not thousands of years old. I would look fantastic for that age. Cora would then state, potentially,
that
but
mean
I'm
you
not
didn't know
exactly
about
100% sure on if it's the same group. Civ would be interested in that. However, she simply states, while I do know much, I'm afraid I don't have this information. The other NPCs don't seem to have that information either.
I mean, unless you'd like us to roll a history check.
You can try.
Hey, why not? We out the first then.
But as you're doing that, Cora states, if it is the same group, potentially the Vanguard, from what I'm aware of, are bandits to the Hell's Mountains Pass. Beyond that, though, I don't really have any information other than to steer away from them unless you're able to put up a fight. Byroth, they seem to be a nomadic tribe from what you remember. Not in the same regards as your people. But if you had to guess, this is what you know with the 16. You know of a group named the Vanguard that are nomadic and travel from place to place? But all you really thought of them were people that just move, similar to your own tribe.
If they are who I think they are, they have no intention or even knowledge of coming back here.
Well, where was it supposed to be released at? Like, where's the place where they were supposed to go and release everyone with this?
They were supposed to do it here at the mansion, but if they didn't have the keys, they wouldn't be able to return. So perhaps something happened that didn't allow them to return. If what you're saying is true.
I know them as a wandering people.
The keys must have been taken away.
Perhaps they do search.
Shifty eyes, just like, oh right, keys. Forgot about that.
She then states, but yes, solidification was to turn everyone into a solid state, allowing them to be alive without needing to breathe, eat, or consume. This would allow us to live for quite some time without unfortunate events. However, if something were to destroy our bodies in that process, while in that state, rather, if someone was able to manipulate metal, they could rebuild us back to the way we were before undoing the curse set upon us.
Why'd you guys pick gold?
It's one of the few metals that lasts for some time. While it doesn't
Is
last
resistant
forever,
to corrosion.
Okay.
yes.
You realize it was a good choice because the conflict you're speaking of is long over.
Go ahead and roll persuasion. No disadvantage because Halloween helped, but if she didn't, you would have had disadvantage.
Persuasion. Natural 20.
I want to give you disadvantage now. No, it's fine. She believes you, even after you try to tackle her.
She's a blacksmith. She knows what metal looks like. This is not gold that has been sitting around for a day or two.
Yeah. If that's truly the case, then I guess our side won. If you're not dead. I'm glad that means we survived, but that means we have a city of statues to wake up. Are any of you arcane in nature that can undo a class 10 spell?
That is above our pay grade. I think we would have to resort to the Mercury or individual.
That might take some time, and the spell's still active, so if we take too
Keys are
long,
needed?
your bodies will turn into gold.
Sorry, if we stay here too long, we will become gold.
The spell's still running on anything that comes into the area. If it stays here too long, it will become a part of the area.
Are you aware that this spell has bled over into other realms?
It was
Not just
supposed to
this
bleed
place.
out for a distance, yes. In order to make sure people don't get too close. The only way to advance further would be the maps we had placed in secure areas.
How long do we have?
How long have you been here? You've been here about a week.
We have been a week of walking on golden sands.
Then you have one day before it begins to hit your bodies.
Does the mercury in any way inoculate us to these effects, or
It'll slow the process down, but with enough mercury on your body, it'll cause lasting effects.
are there any magical means to prevent this? Remove curse, dispel magic,
Well,
things of this
what
nature.
keys were needed to undo everything?
Blade of Sin, an object of virtue, and true neutrality.
Okay,
Okay.
where's the place at to unlock it? Like, where do we do that at?
The fountain itself and the stone slab I assume you came from, looks curiously, are the conduit points from one to another. Just simply step upon the pedestal and have all the keys set, and you'll go to the next area.
She means the keys to the spell. Which-
do the gold spell?
I'm afraid I don't have that information. Only the Vanguard or maybe the Archwizard, but he would be locked up in the tower right now.
We cannot get to the Vanguard within a day.
Get to the tower that the Archwizard guy. Where's he at?
To the north in the mansion.
I say we try to get him back to see what he can do.
Alright.
Okay, no wait, you said locked in the tower? Why was Archwizard locked in tower?
He crafted the spell. He was able to cast the spell within an object, but this required a heavy amount on his body and mind. So in order to make sure he was safe, he was locked inside the area to make sure he did not hurt others or himself. Once activated, he would be solidified in the form, and ultimately he'd be a prisoner within a cage. Which is why the Vanguard were needed. If we are gonna unlock him, he won't be in 100% state of mind. So he might be able to help, but he won't be able to do much without his mind back together.
You guys thought waking up the dragon was a bad idea.
I mean, we only have a day left here. We need to figure this out.
I mean, out of game. From what you can tell, the way she phrased it, it'll begin to hit your body. So maybe a toe, maybe 2 or 3 toes.
Essentially, we have until the next morning because we've been in here for basically almost a full day.
Mm-hmm.
And by in here, we've been in the gold tainted area for almost a day.
Myrath is gonna empty out a water skin or a potion bottle or something, get some mercury, and then be like, I don't think we have much of a choice. Let's go see the wizard.
Okay.
Are you guys really all overlooking the simple solution?
Probably. Just douse ourselves in mercury and piss off? Or
How
just
did you
cast
free her?
Dispel Magic?
Yeah, dispel magic. Literally just dispel magic on yourselves. It will
Yeah,
basically
just-
reset the process.
That's like a short-term fix.
That's actually not how I got her out of it. I got her out of it with mercury. I don't know if Dispel
Yeah, we poured mercury on them.
There you go, Mercury and dispel magic.
I mean, because it is a level 10 spell, I do have a chance of doing it.
I hate everything I'm hearing this evening.
Now,
But I'd still have to find some sort of epicenter, wouldn't I?
you guys would be smart, and damn, I thought no one would catch on to this. Cerberus is correct. If you cast and waste dispel magic on yourself, you would effectively prevent it for
Reset.
another day. So as long as you
What if
keep
I
casting
expire?
dispel magic on your person each day, the 24 hours would reset.
I could do it, but I can't do it for everybody in the day.
I think you can. Isn't dispel magic ritual?
Ooh, is it? In any case, is the wizard tower in the direction that everybody's running away from?
Yes.
That's still the direction I think we should investigate.
Okay.
Because I think if we're going to dispel this in general, we have to do it in the center.
Yeah, and that's what I would try to get everybody freed from it. Jinx.
So- What did she say about the wizard losing his mind?
Basically, in order to cast this spell, he had to give up a large portion of his mind and body, as in, he's pretty frail and not mentally fully there.
That's crazy.
Pretty much. He was locked up to keep himself safe and everyone else.
I mean, if we dispel magic, doesn't that end the spell on him?
Got some greater resto.
Yeah,
We'll
but
see
he's
what
lost
happens.
his mind due to age, so the spell magic won't fix it.
How should I put it? Mages oftentimes find a way to make their bodies last. He effectively negated that it'd be near impossible to do. That being said, though, turning back to Team B and C, Caitlin, what are you doing right now?
I'm gonna talk to the. I'm gonna have the lust blade and the crown of. I'm gonna say humility. That's what I think it is.
You're gonna do what?
And I'm gonna be holding the crown of humility, which is the heavenly virtue. I suspect it's humility,
Mm-hmm.
and the sin of lust. How big is the crown exactly?
As big as your head, from what you can tell, since you wore it.
Can I get the lust blade to change its shape to change it to a weapon which I would desire?
You can ask. You can try.
Well, I'm gonna ask it first. Can you constitute your form and changing it based on what weapon I need it?
I can try, but the virtue itself would have its own say in things.
So the virtue would change it to what it desires.
What its partner would desire.
Okay, so you know how like alright, hold on. This is gonna sound really fucking dumb, but you know how like the crown has a hole in like the middle, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put my sword through it.
Okay.
And like I'm gonna like attempt to like form the blade into something that'll like use that as like a do you know what it's called when like you have like the hilt, you have the hilt,
Mhm.
have that
Attempting
thing,
to
like-
form a cage, like on a rapier around the sword.
yes,
A hand guard.
yes, I'm trying to turn it into a handgun.
Go ahead and roll Arcana with disadvantage. I can't give you super
Hey.
disadvantage, so be happy about that.
Hey, you might as well have been. Fuck.
Immediately as you try to warp its form, its reality, its being, and you are not its partner or companion. How should I want to phrase
It'd be
this?
nice if we could see your Rose drop kick.
Yeah, it was in that one. Let's not sugarcoat this.
I was about to explain it, but yeah, not one. Immediately it shatters around you, and you see its form, its main body, just shoot out of there. Unless you get a natural dexterity save now, you're not going to be able to catch it. However, the filigree around it hits the ground, turns into spikes, and then jettisons straight towards your body and pierces you for a ton of damage that I don't want to mathematically count right now. So I'm just going to say you lose half your health.
Ow. Round it up or round it down?
Round it up. I'll be a little nicer. Oh wait, that's worse.
That's bad.
Either way. In reality, it's 10d10, but I didn't want to deal with that.
That's potentially almost deadly.
Yeah, probably.
Back and Caitlin's just dead.
But yeah, that happened. You pissed off the object, and now it completely jettisoned out of there. You have no idea where it went. Oh, it would have only done 8 more. I just wanted to check it.
Alright.
But yeah, you lost an object, and you have no idea where it went.
I can't attempt to follow it or anything.
You can attempt to make a natural 20 dexterity saving throw to try to grab it.
Well, that's not good.
You swear it flips you off somehow.
of shards like on your forehead says fuck you.
What I will try to ask is, Lux, could you track this virtue? What the fuck?
I'm afraid not. You ultimately cut yourself off from that. However, going off in the distance, Cerberus, you made mention that you're just gonna keep an eye on these people.
Yep, they're the only lead I have currently.
Mm-hmm. Peter simply states, alright, I'm not dead, so the last bit of this will ultimately function properly, thankfully enough. Hooray. Well, at least you're not dead. You really wanted me to die, didn't you? A little bit, yeah. I'm gonna... What was that? Nothing! Alright, everyone ready to jump in? Yeah. Sure. Alright. It's gonna last for about a minute. Does anyone want to check to make sure no one's around us? We're in the middle of a golden desert. Everything that comes in here solidifies or doesn't stick around long enough. So you're not gonna look... Of course I'm gonna look around. Would you attempt to hide, Cerberus?
I would assume I'd be watching. They would have disadvantage on passive, by the way. Not passive, on perception rolls.
Okay. That is a 10. I'm gonna say the baseline for you would probably be at least 13.
If you want, I will roll stealth just for the sake of it.
Okay. I mean, she was half... She wanted to make a point, so she was half looking around. Yeah, no one's there. Alright. What was that? Nothing! Alright. 1, 2, 3. He finishes the enchantment in Primordial, and then where the weird rock structure is, cracking begins to form, not as if the stone it's cracking, or the gold, but literally the air itself begins to break and shatter around. On the other side, you see a mansion door, and all three jump inside. They don't pause and wait for the door to close. They immediately head in towards the structured building.
I will creep up to it and peer inside.
You have a passive of a lot. So around you, you see a void surrounded of nothingness, but you do see gold on the ground as if it's similar to this area. So if you had to guess, this is another area affected by this same type of whatever this is. However, the mansion you look currently in front of you, a lot of it is not gold, which is weird.
Then I will go through and I will simply resort to following these people whilst keeping my distance.
Okay. In the distance, Caitlin, you begin to hear... You technically still have it. It's just super, super finite, and you can't really discern what it is. So I want you to go ahead and roll me perception check. DC 16.
Oh, now I rolled a good piece of shit.
Your near, almost waved over tremor sense still technically is there. It's just being masked by your actual sight now, which is kind of hard to tell your tremor sense from it now. However, even though that did not make sense. Either way, you're able to sense that the air around you was vibrating into the north area. That does not happen normally.
I don't think I like that it's doing that.
You don't have to check it out, but you do know that that happened.
Okay. I guess she'll actually go check it out. She's in a bad situation. It might be the lust. It might be the crown of virtue. So she'll head over there flying.
Okay. Because you're on your horse, it does technically take you less than a minute. But it's barely within the second of a minute. You see, with 5 seconds to spare, a portal slowly closing. Through it, you see more gold and what's your past perception?
Terrible. 14.
Yeah, that's not gonna get it. And a weird horizon line, but you can't discern too much from that. However, beyond this portal lies a mansion door. Do you go through, or do you just observe it close?
She'll watch it close.
All right. 5 seconds later, the portal completely closes. What happens now? Well, we'll find out next time as we end the session for today.